we're loving it. We're loving it. Maude's Book Club. Hey, coming in hot with some gifted subs. Excuse me, Ken. What is that? That was
new achievement.
That was sneaky and new. We got KP Dubs gifting 5 subs. Alien Dipstick, great name. K Frito, hey, K Frito is in the Members Plus chat right now in the call. Who guess who? Sprinkles the Dragon Cat. Jimmy, you got gifted a free sub thanks to KP Dubs. Hey. And G-Town. I feel like that's a Chicago reference. What are you doing, Promising? What are you doing? What are you doing? Promises just gifted 20 gift subs over the course of the last few minutes. Wild. Because literally, Promising, first time chatter, dropped 10 subs before they even commented in the chat. Love that. Thank you, Promising. We got a hype train. Sick. Promising's gifted some subs to XOXO EOEO, Ruby Likes Gamer, Asokran, Dino Fish, Eobano, Waxor, Carnivorous Lamp. Oh, I'd have a Carnivorous Lamp. That'd be quite funny. That's quite a good name too. Catchway 2's just gifted 5, so I'm not going to be able to keep up at all, guys. I swear to God, this is going to be just me reading names for the next 2 hours. Welcome to Moore's Book Club. Carnivorous Lamp! I like that name. Catchway 2's gifted subs to Wally Weir, VW Blobfish, Cutie Pan, Sam Humphrey, and Kunlun. I don't like saying that one publicly. That's weird. I don't like it. It's an innocent word. It's just I don't like saying it. Why? No, don't answer. Promising, going back to you, Kappa7, Swish Dota, Sean King, 86. They're the rest of the gifted subs that you have for the first lot of 10. Good Lord. Thank you, Cutie Pan, for the follow just now. I believe we just got gifted a sub. Basil Barrel Spinner. Why the tongue twister? And he gives me a salute because I absolutely demolished his name publicly. We love that. Basil Barrel Spinner. Got another salute. Gifted to Doc Barlow, Cassio Ski. Ropanda, you gifted a sub to Promising, who's gifted 20 subs. That's a really lovely thing to do in this community. Toasted Post has been here for 38 months. Thank you for rescribing. Really appreciate it. Wish I could say it. That'll be another day. Not today.
Odd.
Yeah?
Odd. What does your carnivorous lamp eat?
My fingers when I go down. Turn it on enough.
I'm thinking it eats light snacks.
Oh no. Oh. Okay. KP Dub's in the house. Not bad. Not bad. Red Panda says, here at Moore's Book Club, we scribe and rescribe. That's it. They're your only options. Jump on board or not. First time chatter, Kappa7 says, hi, everybody, and thank you, Promising, for the gifted sub. I can't read all of this. Quotes, Aaron, and then I continue to read. Yeah, there's so many more here. I'm like barely made a dent. Promising has also gifted subs to C27 Pen, Zany Zanny, Bubba966, Prince Riley Phoenix, Secondhand Samurai, Tiger Fury, Obi-Wan Pez, Ponder Deeply, we'll get to that, Matthew Butcher, and Denoba. Swish Dota, thanks for the follow 34 minutes ago. I feel like I've done the house. What are you doing? Promising gifted another sub. To Promising you can stay. Gifted a sub to Omnivorous Lawn Clippings. I feel like Carnivorous Lamp and Omnivorous Lawn Clippings would get along very, very well. In fact, that's probably
someone needs to warn Promising about the first place rule.
Oh, that, if you're wondering, was the first place on the gifted subs tally board, Mr. Catch22.
If you shoot at the king, you'd better kill him.
I believe that was a live threat on my show. That is a paid perk. If you too would like to deliver live threats over voice call, feel free to contemplate joining Maud's member.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
A perk for Maud's Book Club. You can check it out at patreon.com/Maud's Book Club. Wonderful people are in here. Catch22 is currently sitting in the #1 spot of gifted subs. Basil is in the #2 spot, but Promising, coming in hot in third spot. And you're only getting beaten by one. And top place, Tim is only 5 ahead of you, Promising. Promising just gifted 4 gift subs. May the war begin. The wars have started. All right, I really do feel like I should do like an MP3 of like sub wars. And we're like, we can play that in the chat. Promises just gifted 4 more subs to Katzi, Asadachi, Salamander, and Curiously, which means that Promison's now in the second spot with 37, where Catch is at 38. Baz, you're getting beaten by 3 now, bud. But that's a beautiful rounding out of the podium. Maddie says, oh, nope, shit. Well, that's the show. That's the show. Promising, did you successfully rob a bank? Tim, this is from experience. You might want to check your bank because they may think that someone's stolen your card and is recklessly spending on a book club Twitch stream, which gets flagged pretty quickly around here. How many?
I'm gonna let Promising have that one because he just ousted me by 19.
What?
And then he signed off saying
Then
he's
signed
gotta
off.
go.
Signed
Dinner
off.
time. Gotta go for dinner. Bye.
That's so badass.
Yeah,
That's so
missed
powerful.
opportunity. Stargirl called it. Missed opportunity to oust me by 22.
I mean, I feel like if Promising did that, that would be starting something. That would be like categorical nemesis status. Which
That would have been shots fired. 100%.
How many gifted sub was that just now? 20?
Something like that. And then Baz. Well done, Baz.
Baz.
Since he knows I'm not going to come back, he's like,
Nice.
Sensed weakness and decided to strike.
Ousted by 22.
Oh my god, Basil, thank you for that. And Promising. Oh my god, you're doing Basil's laugh. It's so subtle. Keep playing it. It's so good. Okay, so Promising did give 20 gift subs. I swear, we will get to the book. It is The Last Unicorn. If you haven't finished it yet, you've got probably another 40 minutes while I read all these gifted subs. So you might actually be able to finish the book. Promising, hope you're enjoying dinner. Mr. Apples 29, Willie Loz, Star Pilot, Sharpez, Kimmy Gray, Greg Kenzo, Marzapaz, Marco, Lil Willie, Finny Curb Slappy.
We will get there eventually.
I like that one. JCLL, Tasso, Slamnator, Wonky99, random gibberish name, Palavran Numero. Oh my god, there's so many. Impervious to Acid Man, AWR, and Kim Nore and Lev Yashin. If I just read your name, Promising gifted you a sub, but absolutely bailed. Just bailed. Tim is third now. Oh no! In a drastic turn of events, Basil Barrel Spinner is now in the number 1 spot. Promison's in the number 2 spot, and Basil is beating Tim, who was our reigning champion this entire time, by 22 gifted subs. Basil, I would like to throw the microphone over to you. You are victorious this evening thus far. A few words to your supporters.
Happy to help.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's just such a good noise. Basil's gifted subs to Jeddick.
oh shit, my finger slipped.
No, what, you haven't done anything. No, you did. Oh, no, you gifted 22. Is this the 22 you were supposed to gift this month anyway? And you were like,
No, it was just 22 to tie Baz.
oh my God.
I'm going to give a nod to the effort and make it a tie.
And the real winner is goddamn me.
And then, I'm going to need a W-4 from you, Maude. So
I
can
swear to
file my
God.
taxes.
Yeah, okay, one's coming. And then boop, boop, boop. There it is. If you really do need one, I'm pretty sure I can do that. But Catch, you just gifted 22 subs. I would like to read them out, but at this stage, I feel like any single person who's ever watched has just been gifted a sub in the last sort of 7 minutes. So if Basil gifted you a sub or if Catch gifted you a sub just now, make sure you say thank you. Lisa says, you guys kill me. Brandon Davis, BD, is watching and said, hey, I just got gifted a sub. Who gifted you a sub, BD? Because there is sub wars happening in my chat right here. K Frito is using 100 bits as well. The hype train? Did you just see what number it is? What level the hype train's at? I've never seen this before in my goddamn life. We're at
Level 9?
9. I didn't even know. The highest I've ever seen before is a level 6 hype train. It's level 9? We made it to level 9. Toot toot, motherfuckers. This is sick. Level 9 hype train. Thank you so much. Damn it. 914 times. Can we get to 10 though, says Maddie.
Achievement.
Maddie is an enabler as well. We love this. We love this. I'm about to beat my last record, it's saying. Goodness me. That's far out. Thanks, guys. Everyone's dropping bits to enable.
No crying on stream.
I'm close, but what? No, Ro, what are you doing, you sneaky thing? My favorite part about anyone dropping a gift sub that's in the members call, I get to see your faces. And Nicole's like, you cheeky thing.
Well, we did level 9.
We
That's
got
why I
level 9. We got level 9. Hype train is ridiculous. It's now like, but can you get to 10? Hype train, calm your tits. We are not doing this. Stop it. I love you all. And just, you better stop it though. Just get back. I mean, it's a lovely community and you're just.
Maude's the first streamer ever to be like, stop giving me your money.
That's a lot. Oh my goodness. Ro, thank you so much for gifting 10 subs and getting us to the level 10 on the hype train. I'm like the same color as my sweater right now. That is alarmingly bright, I believe.
Like, how dare you help me pay my bills?
I know. How dare you get me out of a 2-year working slump that I've had. Adam Visions just gifted a sub to Hyper Boner.
God damn it, Adam.
God damn it, Adam. Oh, I feel like we need I need to do MP3s. I'll write them down, but Adam Vision sends his regards. I mean, that's a really good one. But God damn it, Adam, I think needs to be one. MP3s for Twitch. God damn it, Adam. What else did we just have here? What else were some other ones? Hype train. No, Catch. Good Lord. Oh, is it not Hyper Boner? Hype Boner. No, they've got a Hyper Boner, Adam. Vin is a first-time chatter saying, thank you, Ro Panda, for the gifted sub. God damn it, Dubs is a good one. Yeah, God damn it, Dubs. That's a good one too.
Oh.
Sub Wars? Sub Wars, that's what it was.
Eardil the Bonian didn't get a sub and had to describe himself. Sorry, bud. Sorry, bud, you just missed it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you missed it. You missed how many? 50 plus? More. I don't know. That's a lot. A lot of people got gifted subs just now. Thank you, Toaster Poster, for using your bits. Thank you, Asokran, for using your bits. Please let me know how to say your username properly. Kane is saying, cheers for the last unicorn. I swear we're going to start talking about this book soon.
It was over 100 total.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, because I gifted 32, Baz gifted 22, Promise and gifted 57, KP gifted 5, Ro Panda gifted 10 or something. So yeah, so you were well over 100 gifted subs in that first 20 minutes of the stream.
Twitch, can you not take your cut? Please let a girl have this win. Wow, that's nuts. That's bonks. Academic. There was a book. No,
We don't do
No,
books.
we're reading the chat and we're reading out the names of gifted subs.
Basically, just like block like 1 extra hour for every stream now, just to get the readings
The
out
gift
of the
subs
way.
out of the way.
Yeah, so that the next 2 hours after that are actually to the topic at hand.
I think I need to do just a little heart rate check real quick. If you have an Apple Watch, it's quite a neat little feature. Okay, it's settling down a little bit. 75. It's not so bad. 76. It's climbing. Yeah, you just put your finger against the little wheel and it will check how your heart rate's going. It's climbing again. Just seeing if I'm okay. Anonymous, anonymous, don't you dare. What are you doing? Who's anonymous? Who's anonymous? Or do you just make it anonymous? Anonymous gifted 5 sub and it's going up to 79. 81. It went up to 81 after that. Anonymous gifted subs to ICND Inc., Dota, Shuzko, Shinyasu, AK Falcon. You got gifted a sub. Thanks to Anonymous. Anonymous.
Ken did too, right before this. Like right before Anonymous.
Who did? KP Dubs.
Ken.
KP Dubs.
I'm sorry, so KP.
No, 5. Gifted a tip as well. Tips are always amazing because that goes straight to a PayPal and Amazon can't touch it. So thank you, KP Dubs, for gifting 1010 for level 10 that we just got. And you also gifted subs to Darkly Knighted, Lena, Eusteppen, Wasabi by Scott, and Kane.
Who wants to gift?
No.
Who wants to give 90 subs to get to 410?
No. Oh, the
Or
goal that I
99
have.
subs to get us to 410.
The goal that I have for the month that I've never hit.
Yeah, we're less than 100 away.
Maddie's now gone from being enabler to disbelief, saying, this is wild, guys. Do your wallets not hurt? Well, I am saying, just a reminder, we are going into the holiday season where like the gift of giving to loved ones is a priority, and make sure that you can. Oh my God. I got to talk about a book now. Like what? Thank you. Oh, I did. Academic just said Maude just realized that she was a loved one. My face hurts from smiling.
Wait, K Frito, have you been actually counting 142 subs?
That's ridiculous. Everyone's saying thanks for the gifted subs. It's because they've been a fuck ton. The subs keep subbing. Zelda, you need to bark so that we have a subwoofer.
Nice.
Colin laughed at that. Like actually that looked like guffaw. That was in that category. Hell yeah. Zelda, whenever you're ready. Nope, of course she will not. Airwolf has subscribed for 21 months saying, hi Maude, I love watching your streams. Well, I appreciate that. I'm supposed to be hi everyone, I'm supposed to be doing Maude's book club. I'm Maude. We read sci-fi and fantasy books. And then every now and then my community will just render me absolutely speechless, except for swear words, it seems. The train has been derailed. Man, that train just shut the doors and sped along. That was like Speed 3, the train. Have they done that movie yet? We just lived it.
Tim.
What is it? What was it? We
all had to gift subs because we felt guilty for not reading the book.
Okay,
Calling ourselves out.
Show of hands, who didn't read the book? Who did not read the? Oh my! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basil hasn't finished yet. Steph didn't read it.
I didn't finish the book. I started it.
You read 60 pages. Tate says, love chaos. We do love chaos around here. It's a lot of fun. K Frito said, look, I watched the movie. I did both. Brush Kid said Katie didn't, so I didn't listen to it. All right. So you just threw your wife under the bus. I respect and appreciate that. That's all good. Do it.
To be fair, the movie was written by the author, and he basically took out a lot of like little minor plots that didn't really matter.
The Harpy never came back. Like
it basically felt like a lot of old time, like, fairy tales, fantasy stories where it's like, you'll have an event, you'll have a monster. Once it's done, it's gone.
I don't want to encourage drinking, but I do know that Jeff has quite a not delicate take on this book. And so every time I read a comment or Jeff kind of slams the book, we must drink. And it starts with the harpy was lame, says Jeff. So we're going to drink for that one. If anyone hasn't done their water quota for the day, now is the time to get hydrated. Oh, Steph, I saw that wine.
Dude, I'm trying to work.
That's water.
I can't be drinking every time you slam the book.
Water in a wine glass. KPW's already finished the beer. K Frida said, I have to hydrate. I'm going to drown. Do you remember the radio that did a competition where the last one to wee wins the wee and the woman died?
Fuck.
I would like everyone to put in writing that they will not drink to the point that where they will die. If that's cool. Let's not. Oh no, Ro. It's just like glonk. I mean, hydrated is a very, very good thing, but water toxicity, yeah, no dying. The BC waivers, yeah, Maude's Book Club waivers are incoming. Just everyone unmute? Can I get a verbal aye or something? Just
Aye.
there we go.
If it's not caffeinated, I'm not drinking it. So
Aye. E. Love it. God, this book club's fucking weird. I love it. You could be anywhere, but you are here right now. That's a lot of fun. We're the best, says Darren. Yeah, no dying. No dying. The nays have it. Yep, I love it. All of those noises. We love it. For those that are wondering who's chatting, it is a perk for the Patreon. Everyone who is a member plus hangs out in a wonderful Discord call. Wow, what is that? 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 18 in the chat right now, which is so wonderful. They each come with my glowing recommendation of being a very decent person. So if you want to hang out with wonderful, like-minded, intelligent individuals who have a lot of fun, who will roast me and I roast back, and, we'll hold each other accountable for reading books or show up not reading books. That's what we do around here. If your goal for 2025 is to read more books, please consider Maude's Book Club. This book was my 82nd book for the year. Now, Lisa, I know you got me beat, but who's doing better than 82? Oh my gosh, there's quite a few hands up. Way to humble me. Let's go. Academic, what number are you on at the moment?
Somewhere north of 100.
What has been one of your favorites of the year so far? We have a book.
I'm going to go with The Dungeon Lord. Also because I was presently surprised and there's recency bias. So, yeah, Dungeon Lord.
I mean, we put that on the list of books that we were going to cover, and I've already started trying to lock in the first 3 months of next year. It's going to be very exciting. Darren's on 23. Avery's at 41. Robin's at 77. Ooh, Robin, that's kind of... You're on my heels. This could get dicey. We've got 6 more weeks. You could beat me.
I'll just throw some romantasy on there and I'll beat you.
I'm trying to figure out what romantasy we're going to read for February next year. We've got to figure one out. Colleen's on 108. KP Dub's on 26, but that's 130% of his goal. Katie's on 80. Oh, that's a slogan. Katie's on 80. Toaster Post said, as usual, I stopped counting back in spring. Brush Kid's on 4. That's 4 more than nothing. Aaron says, I'm on the low end of the spectrum, about 13, but I'm going to improve that for next year. Phantom Aria is at 30. Lisa's at 133. So, oh, you're at 137. Jeff, are you the highest? 137. What were some of your favorites of the year?
The Dungeon Crawler Carl books,
Yeah.
clearly.
Duh. Yeah, very, very good. Ropanda says 34, which is the best in a very long time. Can we get rounds of applause for that? That's the thing. Don't compare yourselves to the Jeffs and the Lisas or even the Maudes and the Robins. if you didn't really read much and your goal was to read more, and 34 is obliterating that goal, I am so proud, and that is a huge win. Academic says it helps that I've had multiple series that are 10 plus books. Brush Kid says, hey, I'm not counting the level 1 books that I'm reading to my kids each night, but hey, that would be 50. Brush Kid, that's 50 books. That is actually 50 books for the year. Academic, who's got kids, just like cheered in glee. What's your total book score? Academic could have everyone beat.
I do not know. My kids love to read, and by that they mean they love me reading. Yeah.
Lisa says, please don't, let's not compare. Lisa says, I literally do nothing but read. Oh, that is life goals right there. And she's got a dog just to really rub it in. Aaron says, my goal is to read the entire Shannara Chronicles series, which is he did not write 30 books in that series.
He did. It was like, they're like multiple series, like, 3 or 4 books each set. And they're all like generational. So you don't have to like read each one to understand the whole thing. Some take place like hundreds of years later. So 30
just feels like obnoxious.
Unlike Stephen King, it was not like 30 books in total, like different stories. It's like one universe with multiple series.
Okay, all right, That's a good goal though. That's your whole year of reading. Avery makes such a good point. Last week, someone mentioned that something like 55% of Americans haven't read a book in over a year. So if you're on one book, you're doing better than the majority of this country. Kay Frito says we need to do Dungeon Crawler Carl book 6 soon next year. Absolutely. Darren says rereading Dungeon Crawler Carl helped me get back on pace for my goal. All right, the people have spoken. Usually I was like, we'll start a series, and then if you want to continue the series because there's a lot in them, do it in your own time. But this club went, no. In the Club We All Fam, we're going to keep reading the series that we actually love, and we're all going to do it together. So it kind of looks like from time to time this book club is sponsored by the likes of Red Rising and Dungeon Crawler Carl, and potentially soon to be other series if we like them enough. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles and the page turns. So, all right, let's get on Murderbot. Hell yeah. We've got to do book 6 before book 7 audio comes out. That means we've got it in February. Ooh, okay. That means we push Lightbringer back? Do we do Dungeon Crawler? Yeah, I know. Well, February is lovey doves, and
we have pushed Lightbringer 4 freaking times.
Yeah, but we still have to wait for
it's time to read it.
Push Lightbringer into the abyss. That's a Jeff. That's Jeff. Everyone drink.
Jeff, get out. Nobody likes that.
Oh, I like Jeff Get Out as a sound bite. That's a fun one. Jeff Get Out. That's fun. Actually, Get Out Jeff sounds better. It's got good alliteration. But obviously, Jeff, please stay. Please stay. But Get Out Jeff's really cool. I like it. Do we approve, Jeff? 2 thumbs. I like that. Actually, 2 thumbs up should be 1 as well, because a lot of the time I'll look over to you guys and you'll be doing like a version of thumbs, so that's cool too. Kay Frida says, I want to read Lightbringer. Avery says, let's just read Lightbringer and get it over with. Let's just get it done. I am all for waiting for Lightbringer until closer to Red God coming out. I'll shoot him a text. I'll see where he's at with it. Yeah, there still isn't another book after it. DCC could be April, says K. Frito. Members, we will discuss. Basil, getting on the pun brigade, says, I don't need a Lightbringer. I have lights in my room already. That's a boom tush. That is a boom tish, because that's a head shake. That's a head shake pun, but I still respect it. Nick says, we waited this long for Lightbringer. What's another month? That's how I kind of feel. Hi, Nick. Lovely to have you in here. Alrighty, because we read the whole book, we are going full spoilers for The Last Unicorn. If you haven't read it, we're going to do some spoilers. If you have read it, I want to hear what you gave this book out of 5 and why. Why you gave this book out of 5. Academic Seabird, are you, because you didn't read The Last Unicorn?
just gotta get home. My
It's
cousin's in
home
town, so I'm gonna spend. Yeah, I'm going. So
It's
yeah.
home, so I like the dramatic exit. I wish everyone would exit dramatically from now on, please. It's my request. Have a good night with your cuz.
Time has come.
Journey before destination. I know that's, speaking of, oh my goodness, I forgot to do this at the top of the hour. Martha Wells of our wonderful Murderbot fame has written another book, The Wheel of the Infinite. I don't think it's out yet, and I got sent a copy, and I had a press release for it that I've taken out, so I can't read about it. But thank you so much, Tor. As you can see, also by Martha Wells, and there's a lot of Murderbot books in there, and we're up to 6 and 7, which we'll be covering next month. But if you're into Martha Wells, a new book is coming, Wheel of the Infinite. I'll read a little bit of the blurb. A traitor and a swordsman join forces to save the world from being rewritten into devastation. Oh, hell yeah. That is quite my jam. So there you go. Wheel of the Infinite. Martha Wells. Thanks, Tor. You're legends. Keep sending books to me. I'll keep talking about them. I'll keep reading them. Let's check in with these scores. Lisa says, look, it's probably just a 3 for me. Why is that, Lisa?
Just wasn't really for me, I don't think. Like, it was very whimsical and fairy tale-esque, and so I liked it for that, but it just was boring. I literally put off reading it until today and just sped through the last half of it.
You had it on
audiobook,
2.5%.
At the end.
Times.
I'm going to finish.
2.5. Now, the audiobook narrator sounded eerily like the narrator for Nosferatu. Did you find that as well?
Well, I only listened to like 25 pages of Nosferatu, so I don't know. I can't really compare it, but
I can.
I didn't mind the narrator. So
okay. Aaron, who suggested The Last Unicorn, suggested to not use the audiobook and to read the book. It's a pretty cover. I like the cover, and I have a feeling there's so many iterations. Steph, it's a DNF. Gave it 3 chapters. Wasn't drawing you in.
No, I think it was too whimsical and too lyrical. Like, it's almost like too many like little songs and stuff like that. That's not for me.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, they busted out in Lord of the Rings. They love to have a little sing along for that one too. So that makes sense. Jeff says no rating. Because Mama told me if I can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I'm still drinking. Bottoms up, Jeff. Aaron says it should be obvious I love the book, so I would give it a 4.5 out of 5, but only because the curse on the castle and town was pointless. It was. It was.
It was taken out of the movie, and the ending still happened the way it would have happened.
Wait, hold on. Hold on just a moment. Because honestly, this is the only part of the book that two parts of the book that I actually enjoyed. One, the skull. That was fun. Yeah. 2, the curse was amazing. The curse was the whole friggin' point of the book. If you don't have the curse, what's the point of the book? To me, the bowl represents kind of critics and your self-critic, your internal critic stopping you. And the curse is like, you prosper as long as you keep yourself contained. And then if you break that, then everybody else can prosper also, because you're kind of allowing other things to flourish. That was the only thing of the whole book that I enjoyed.
Curse wasn't the point. Curse was just because he didn't pay the witch who built the castle.
Yes.
It's basically a comment on pay your contractors.
Yes.
I did look into themes, and the Red Bull does represent control and power.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree on that point. I'm just saying it's like the curse on like the town and the castle is like a separate thing entirely, because then it's like, okay, here's the reason why the prince is a pivotal character in the entire thing.
I liked the prince, but he still didn't get a happy ending. Oh, that sounds bad. You know what I mean.
That's one of the things like why I enjoy the book, because it's like all fairy tales like always have like the big happy ending and like the prince rides off with the princess in the sunrise or the sunset kind of thing. And here it's like you fell in love with an immortal being who just happened to be mortal for like a small amount of time, and it's like also the fact it's like you have an immortal being who becomes mortal, and it's just like it's driving her insane. It's like that concept I love, especially the way it was depicted in the movie.
I will say the movie made me sad.
Yeah.
The movie made me sad. I left. It did not feel like it was whimsical and magic like The Princess Bride. And I'm going to bring up The Princess Bride quite a lot because it was another fairy tale-esque type story with a little bit more action and adventure and fleshed out characters. But this one, I kind of got really, really sad at the end because it didn't feel happy. And I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it as a child because I think I would have been quite confused. I would have been like, Mom, why did you make me watch that? Or I would have absolutely loved it, even though I don't like the animation style all that much. So that's fair. Would have been a deterrent as well. Like the dudes have all got to have massive, massive noses. Avery said I rewatched The Princess Bride last week, so I think I've been in the mood for whimsical. Which is why, Avery, you gave this book a 5 out of 5. Tell me all about that. Let's get some joy and love in our feed.
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this with some of the other books we've read in the past, but I just have always just really loved fairy tales. Like I studied them in school and everything, so like I've always just been drawn to that style of storytelling. So for me, like the fairy tale elements were just really cool. Like I really enjoyed it, and even though it did have like it did kind of have like a kiddie feel to it, but that didn't bother me personally. I thought that it was like I could see like the elements where it may have inspired like different fantasy or like and I loved the flowery writing personally, like the lyrical writing. I thought that was really cool, and it was simple, and I think I really needed simple right now, so that tied with all the fairy tale stuff, it worked for me. I liked it.
I like that too. There were some beautiful similes used in this book, and I've written down a couple to read out because I just thought some of them were so clever and wonderful. James, thanks so much for the follow. Swish Dota says, I feel like the image and idea of the beauty of the unicorn exists best in the mind. So when I tried watching the movie, it just didn't work for me. I get that as well. Like a lot of the time with like a fairy tale and mysticism and, when you are talking about uncapturable beauty, when you do try to capture it, you're like, what? That ain't it. That ain't it. I did think that the unicorn was quite beautiful in the movie. Colleen says, I want to know what happened to the princess he was courting before. She just disappeared. Oh, Aaron, do you know why?
What? Well, he was the one that, because like when they were like going to Haggard's castle, they run across like a princess and a prince, just like saying like here unicorn. That was Lear, and then he calls off that marriage because of Amalthea / the unicorn.
Oh, he really was all in for her.
Oh yeah, he was
smitten kitten. Smitten kitten. I've always called myself a unicorn. So.
And I don't know if that same princess at the end was like saying it's like I just got like capture, like I escaped my wicked uncle, just killed my dad, and is like capture my brother, something like that. It's like help. I don't know if that's the same one or if it's just another random princess that just happens to come along because that's what Schmendrick would say. It's like, see, we're all in a fairy tale. It's like I'm very self-aware of what's going on.
There's princesses everywhere.
Pretty much.
I think that would be really, really kind of suck if it was the same princess, because it's like she's been totally dismissed.
Yeah.
And now she's being sent back to him like, what, all is forgiven? Okay, I couldn't have Amalthea, so yeah, you're looking pretty good.
Damn.
Help me, Prince Lear. You're my only hope.
Yeah, okay, maybe Prince Lear has got a little shady side to him. Phantom Aria said 3 out of 5. Wait, the chat keeps going and I can't keep up with it. Sorry. Said some interesting parts, but I couldn't really connect with the characters. James says, greetings from Pennsylvania. Happy Wednesday. New to your stream. Being a book lover, I'm happy to find your stream. Welcome. We've just read The Last Unicorn. The Princess Bride mentions keep happening. I think if you don't know this about me already, The Princess Bride is my favorite movie of all time. It is sitting, and it will always sit at the #1 spot in my life. It's almost a deal breaker. If someone hasn't watched The Princess Bride, I get a little wary. Aaron's got his copy of The Princess Bride up here. I've got my copy of The Princess Bride in my bookcase, and it's one of the few times, William Goldman, who wrote The Princess Bride, also wrote the screenplay, and the movie is a lot better than the book, which very rarely happens. And Jeff says, Princess Bride has everything: fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, true love. What a great book and movie. Catch says, look, I've got to give it a 2.5. It just wasn't for me. Swish says, this is a very brief and small moment, but was anyone else struck that after Witch Mummy Fortuna was killed by the harpy, that Schmendrick cried and felt bad for her?
Because he was inadvertently the cause of her death, because let the unicorn out, who then let the harpy out, who then killed and murdered, understandably, Mommy Fortuna. Also is to point out the fact that it's like he regrets his actions, whereas unicorn's like, I can feel sorrow, but I don't understand or feel regret.
And then at the end of the book, she does. She's like, I experienced regret now. What did she regret?
That she gave up being a human woman and being with the prince in order to...
Oh, I didn't get that. She just kept saying, now I know what regret is. And I'm like, what are you regretting, though? I thought she always wanted to go back to being a unicorn. No, she became a woman and then realized that the love of a man was the only thing worth living for.
She was becoming more and more human. If she still kept her personality as a unicorn, she probably wouldn't have picked him.
Because that's how I know. That's why it's worth living for me. That's what life is all about. That's the purpose of all life as a woman, is to find your prince.
I think that's why I only gave it a 4, because there was that story too of when they were hunting the unicorn, and there was a young girl there who was trying to help them catch it, and when they wanted to know what happened to that girl, she just said, they said, oh, well, she was just confused and misled. So the hero married her. She just needed a man to straighten her out. And that just was not what I wanted to hear.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. This is written, I believe it's 1964. And I don't think women could legally vote at this time. And I don't even think women could legally get out their own bank loans. So that's sort of on par with the era that we're in. So I kind of get that. Avery says, I actually interpreted it as love in general rather than love of a man specifically. Yeah, interesting. A unicorn doesn't really recognize, I guess, love. It definitely recognized purpose. I need to be with my other unicorns. I want to find them. That is my purpose. But then to experience love, because the first interactions that the last unicorn had with man, or in this case with Mummy Fortuna, didn't go so well. That was not love at all. Basil has a great allegory input here, saying Mummy Fortuna felt an allegory to people who feel trapped by their own circumstances. I think her death felt sad only because she wanted a different path entirely. Mummy Fortuna recognized that she was holding mythical, magical beasts against their will. And she found almost glee in being able to capture what is like the uncapturable. And she even recognized, and I'm taking this from the movie, where it's like, I know the harpy's going to kill me. As soon as the harpy can kill me, that harpy will absolutely kill me. But it doesn't matter, because my legacy will live on forever. I am immortal now, knowing that I was able to trap and capture these beasts.
I also love the fact that she's saying, like, no other witch in the world has ever, dared to capture a harpy or anything like that. It's like, yeah, because none of them are stupid enough to try.
That's not a brag, sweetheart. Yeah, no, I hear it.
That's the only thing that's probably stuck out with me so far. The only passage that stuck out with me so far, where she very specifically says, like, no, I had a different path in life, but then when instead of being built up, I was torn down. She has that little monologue about like that was sort of the inflection point that set her on this path. And I feel like that and sort of that's what they're like, oh, it felt like an allegory for people who felt trapped by their own circumstances. Like, you know, not all criminals are bad people, but it's just the path that of least resistance, and they made their choice, and I don't think they would wanted to make the choice. So
I feel like there's also, you know, the exploitation of others, feeling sort of bigger when you're able to capture and trap smaller things that you can sort of gain value, money, and exploit. And I think that that's, you know, that's something that throughout history we've seen many a time, where it's like you are not actually doing the right thing. Like, because Gladiator 2 is just coming out, there were fights to the death for entertainment, where men would either fight other men for entertainment and glory, fight monsters, fight, you know, animals, beasts, and that was all for entertainment. So like throughout the course of time, we've definitely seen other people, people with power exploit, use, enslave people that they deem under them. And so when sort of someone escapes and there's a revolt, we kind of do feel a little bit of joy. We feel like there's a course correction. We feel like that freedom is very, very important. But I do think that there is a lot of allegories in here about being in a cage. Who was it saying that Mummy Fortuna is almost within a cage of their own that they've placed themselves in? The last unicorn, when she becomes a woman, a girl, she's in a cage of her own body that she was confined into. So she's literally gone from a cage with iron bars, magical iron bars, and magic holding her, to magic then holding her own body hostage, which then starts losing her mind. So yeah, being trapped in a cage, the curse, that's technically being trapped within a cage in itself as well. The Red Bull is making sure that the last the unicorns are being kind of herded out into the sea. Yeah, so there you go. Swish says, credit to Mummy Fortuna for at least being able to see their beauty that the others could not. That makes it kind of worse.
Yeah. Well, also again, when the unicorn becomes a human woman, she's like an immortal being trapped inside a mortal one. And the movie like actually did it better, where it's like she's screaming, "I can feel this body dying." Like,
and like physically, like being able to see the manticore, where it's like it's this big, powerful monster, and then you see what's really behind it, and it's, you know, this sad, emaciated lion, and you're like, oh, this is really heart-wrenching.
only the spider was the only one who, like, you know, believed the illusion that was placed on it, and it was just very sad at the end when it's like, I'm no longer this, you know, mythical creature now who can still spin these cool webs.
Darian, yes, you got your hand up.
Yeah, just want to say, like, for me, my score for this would have been like around 4.25 out of 5. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, fantastic.
It really was a good book, especially as I didn't like the last one we did. So that helped boost this one a lot. One thing I'll say is this book, it offered a lot of complexity for being something so simple.
Yeah,
I would say, yeah, there was a lot of complexity. It's such a simple short book, and there was something really beautiful about the prose. And I mentioned this in the chat a few days ago about, like, it was simultaneously beautiful and tragic at the same time, and I really appreciated that.
Definitely,
just the quality of the writing, just it balanced those two things so well. And yeah, it's a simple story. I think it's meant for like a younger audience, but it worked really well. Like, I really have to say, Patrick Rothfuss's for the book really worked. He really nailed it on the head for me. It's like, I understand why he loves it so much.
Yes, I thank you for saying that. He's forward praising this book, and the way that Patrick was kind of saying it in the first chapter was just like, this book will shape your life. This book needs to be read. If you haven't read this book, then it's like your life is not better for it. But I wonder, like The Princess Bride, I remember talking to someone recently, and we were talking about the best movie ever, and I was like, it's like subjectively The Princess Bride. And they went, yeah, just because, who said it? They just saw through my soul. And they said, yeah, just because a substitute teacher wheeled out a television when they couldn't be bothered teaching when you were a kid. And I was like, oh my God. I was in year 2 and it was leading into Christmas time in December. And yet they had run out of fucks. And so the TV stand was wheeled out. And I was like, oh, what's this movie? And 7-year-old Maude had her life change in that moment. And I wonder, would I have liked Princess Bride as much as I do today if I just watched it last week? Or is it because I watched it when I was young and it harnessed a particular magic that I have held in my heart the decades continuing? And I feel like for Patrick Rothfuss, reading The Last Unicorn, when he did as a child, planted that seed and made him almost want to be a writer because of how this book is written. So I didn't read this book as a kid. Is that why I'm not loving this book as much as an adult? What do people think?
Can I sound off on that?
Yeah.
So one, I thought Patrick Rothfuss overhyped the book in his foreword. The way he talked about it, I was like, this book's going to be awesome. And then it wasn't. So there's that. But I watched the Princess Bride as a kid too, and I hated it. I didn't get an appreciation for the Princess Bride until I was much older.
Really?
Like, I love that movie. I love it. It's such a good movie, but I did not get an appreciation for it until I was like 18.
Okay.
I didn't watch it until I was maybe 38 or 39. It was out a long time before I even saw it, and I've loved it since day one and seen it like 30 times since.
Cool. So it's just a perfect. It's a perfect movie, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, it's not.
Wait.
It's a very good movie, but it's
Jeff.
not perfect.
It's a movie.
Nothing is perfect.
Jeff. It's a perfect movie. Yep, got it. Yeah, Jeff said it's a perfect movie. So now we have to undrink half of our drinks just because you said
Don't do that
the
on
nicest.
stream.
Oh,
Brush Kid says night, everyone. Oh, good night. Lisa says, I feel like I still would have loved it if I saw it as an adult. The Princess Bride is one of those movies that I enjoy more, and the more I watch it. It gets funnier with every viewing. I have seen the movie so many times. I am fully fledged into being a pest watching this movie. And it's happened for around the last 5 or 6 years. If I'm watching this movie and you are anywhere near me, I will ruin this movie for you because I will say every single line of dialogue. I will even sing the song of the baseball game on the Nintendo as the opening line. I think I even have the note down. Dun, da, 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 like, you know, and it's like, then he goes, woo, bloop, bloop,
also one of those movies where it's like you cannot and should not ever remake it or get like anything like that. And actually, with only one single exception, Muppets as the
How dare
only
you?
caveat.
No. They've already done it, and it was actually nearly perfect as well. During COVID, all these A-list actors came together and were given a scene to act out. And I believe it was Jason. Is it Jason Segel? Is that his name from How I Met Your Mother? Who he wrote it in his movie of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he just wants to do an Andre the Giant impersonation any chance he can get, and he just wanted to do
It's like a bunch of different random celebrities just intercutting to like, you know, the whole thing. Yeah.
But it was Paul Rudd. It was like big actors coming together, and it's in the bottle on the peanut. Like, it was so good. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
On the topic of ruining movies for people watching them by quoting the whole movie, I did that for Star Wars when they re-released the special edition. I sat in an empty theater in the front row. There was like maybe 15 people in it, and I quoted the entire movie. Didn't miss a line.
I love when you can find a friend or family member or something that likes the movie as much as you do, and the 2 or 3 or 4 of you just take the parts and you just go back and forth with the lines. And like you said, Maude, you sing the soundtrack in your head, and you know every foreign language words. You don't know what they mean, but you're saying them word for word, syllable for syllable, because you've seen it 1,000 times. I love that.
The best.
That sure reminds me seeing the this like documentary on the making of Snow White, and like during the whole production, Walt Disney and the whole company's like, you know, they need an extra loan to finish the movie. So they got like the rep from the bank to come into the studio. They're putting on like what the finished animatics are, the unfinished stuff, the storyboards, all that stuff. So the unfinished stuff that has no audio or whatever, Walt Disney's like, putting on the vaudeville act and acting everything out, doing the lines, doing all this action stuff like that, just putting on the whole show for this one guy. Of course, he's giving like nothing away, just straight poker face. And it's only until like he's walking out to the car to like, be a gentleman and stuff like that. The guy's like looking at him, is like, by the way, that's going to make you a ton of money. I'll get you a check in the morning. For the entire presentation, nothing. But it's like as soon as I'm out in the car and it's like I can have a moment with you, it's like I'm going to tell you, yeah, you got the money.
Aw, I love your fun facts. And if you've got any for this one as well, keep dropping them because it's so cool to hear the insides. I mean, I looked at some of the trivia for IMDb with The Last Unicorn. Jeff Bridges wasn't great as Prince Lear, can I just say? He was reading lines. He was reading
100%
dialogue.
correct.
Yeah, what the hell, Jeff?
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, Christopher Lee as King Haggard,
Fantastic.
Yeah. He also
In
did the
everything.
German dubbing because Christopher Lee speaks German fluently because of his, World War II SAS background.
That's so
in special
impressive.
forces. And then basically told him, it's like, by the way, if we ever do a live action, even if I'm dead, let me play Haggard.
Oh, he would be so good. All right, so let's get into some of these talking points. My first big question is, the writing style is very unique. This is very, intrinsic to being in the 60s. But what did you think of the writing style? Did it help you enjoy it more or did it hinder your experience? Darian's saying thumbs up, liked it. Avery, yeah,
I
loved it. Colleen?
I like the flowery kind of language. I mean, that's sort of the style that of fantasy that I grew up with was this real, flowery, overplayed kind of language. So I feel right at home with that.
I think it was like chapter 2. One just stopped me in my tracks and I was like, this is so beautiful. The heavy lock giggled and whined like a mad monkey. You're just like, yeah, right. Like just beautiful similes that are whimsical and wonderful. And I just feel like we don't have descriptors like this anymore that are so immersive and so just kind of bonkers as well in a way. Like, the heavy lock giggled and whined like a mad monkey. You're just like, that is so cool. Did it hurt? Did the writing style hurt the book for some people? Tim is frantically nodding. Lisa's nodding. Robin's nodding as well. Okay, so it's kind of split 50-50. This was really working for you or it was hurting for you? All right, interesting. What motivates the unicorn to leave her forest home? Loneliness? Let's talk about loneliness for a bit. I get it.
Also, the fact it's like she's like, what do you mean they're all just gone? Like we can
Curiosity.
be killed and stuff like that, but it's like just gone. That's impossible.
It was
forever.
curiosity. Yeah.
Yes. She wasn't lonely until she found out everybody was gone.
So what is that, like living under a rock or having contentment? And then as soon as you kind of come up for air or if circumstances change, you kind of get a better idea of the real world and you're like, oh, I'm feeling a little left out or change is happening so fast that I wasn't even aware of it.
I say this seriously, it's like the behavior of an introvert.
Yeah.
You're on your own and then there's, something that activates a neuron in your head. You're like, oh no, I need to go find out.
And then it's mid-November and you're like, what? Yeah.
Because she is very contented being on her own, but here she's the last one. It's spurs into action and she's very content being on her own again. It's just like to know what happened to her people. I think that was the driving force there.
Jeff disagrees. Jeff's pouring a drink. Jeff's about to rant. I have my water ready. No, you're not.
No ranting. I just think loneliness, I guess, or curiosity or whatever. It's a plot device. She decided to go look for her. Like she didn't know she was alone, and then all of a sudden she knows she's alone, and I don't know. I mean,
that's story. Yeah.
That's the story, right? Like that's the
classic
plot
call to
device to move the story along. But
It's very much the hero's journey call to action. You have to have something that prompts you out of
An
your
inciting
home.
incident, yeah.
Could I have
'Cause
some
before,
attempts
you had to
of the phonetic spelling of the that we just got from Jeff? I'd love to see that in letters.
That's how I imagine
Pretty sure it was UEGH.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, Lisa, I think that's what I was picturing. Toaster Poster says the way that the characters spoke felt like it was out of the labyrinth or the never-ending story. I felt like a kid again. I never gave my score 3.75. I loved that it does tap into that sort of like childlike, whimsical nature of a fairy tale. I just felt that the movie really kind of made me feel sad. And I was kind of like, is that it? Like, this is a fairy tale that didn't really have a strong A to B. Like, we're introduced to a main character almost halfway through the book. And I'm like, all right, Molly is here now. It was quite anticlimactic. I don't know. I'm going to keep comparing it to The Princess Bride. And when I do that, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. Is Zelda, I'm hearing Zelda's doing some sleepy paw dancing. Oh, what a cutie.
I wonder, though, what it would feel like to suddenly realize that you're the only one left. I mean, suppose you were an introvert and you'd been perfectly happy living in your bunker or whatever, and then you suddenly find out that you're the last human being.
They did a show on that, didn't they?
Last Man on Earth.
Yep.
Will Forte.
So
that's it, yeah.
Would that be enough to make you want to go out and find out if it was true or not?
You know what? You're right. That would be a very good motivator for me to start exploring and to seek and to search, whether it's for any other person or, as honestly, in a way, a bit of a sense of freedom knowing no one else is there. Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, about that, yes, like Will Forte, that show works because he's a comedic moron. Like that's the idea, right? Like, but the unicorn isn't presented as that. It's presented as this extraordinarily passive sort of, oh, I'm the last unicorn. That's weird. And then things happen, and it doesn't
Say
take
my
an
name.
active role.
Why won't you say my name? I will say, oh, okay, it's coming out. 3.75, which could go down to 3.5. This book feels like an acid trip sometimes, in the sense that
it was the 60s.
It was the 60s. You know, not just the butterfly speaking in riddles and, you know, all of that happening. It felt, and I thought of this morning when I was listening to it. The words in this book, listening to it, felt like a firefly, because I would try to follow it because I could see it, but it is zipping around, and like a sentence would go from talking to each other to then having a reaction that didn't really feel like it was in line with the dialogue that was just happening. And then it would flash forward or backwards to like some sort of what if or a memory or things that are happening in a different time. And I'm just kind of like, all right, I can't follow this really quite clearly. Aaron, because this is your book, please defend.
So for me, I first got introduced to the story because of the movie and then read the book. So the scene that basically solidified that I absolutely loved this movie was actually the butterfly. Not because of like, you know, all the random stuff. That obviously is kind of annoying because it's like she's just desperately like wanting some like validation, like, you know, I'm not alone, that, you know, there's even a random butterfly who's probably short-lived and, you know, obviously very, you know, just random in their head kind of thing, you know, ADHD minded kind of thing, just whatever comes in their mind, has seen me, therefore I can at least, you know, not have to go on this massive journey anymore. But then it has like this moment of just dark clarity where it's like saying, you know, don't listen to me, listen. You can find them all if you're brave. They went down all the, you know, they went down all the roads long ago, and the Red Bull just followed behind, you know, covering their footprints. Like that one little simple line, it's like just like You have my attention now.
Okay. That sort of lost it for me a little bit. Like, if I'm comparing it to the labyrinth, it's that little worm where she said, he's like, hello, did you say hello? No, I said hello, but that's close enough. And then he's like, come inside, have a cuppa with the missus. I'm like, yeah, I love this. That's the kind of dialogue that, if he gone that way, he'd gone straight to the castle. Like, that's really quite clever. This butterfly, I'd smack him. It's like, I'm asking you a very simple, do you know my name? Yes, I do. I know your name. It's like, do you know my name though? Do you know my name? It's like, say it. Just say it. Ha ha, Rumpelstiltskin, got you. Yeah, I'd be like, doink. If you're not helping, bugger off. Pun, because it's butter off. You know what I mean. Avery says, I'm usually okay with being alone as long as I know that there's other people around if I need them. But if I'm in a place mentally where I don't think I have anyone, then I can get really lonely and scared. That's what I imagine the unicorn went through. Yes, if you know you have a support network that if you reach out, they will answer, you are choosing isolation. You are choosing your alone time. You are choosing to kind of bolster on your own. You're choosing to hibernate. You're choosing to be an introvert. And that is how you restore and replenish your energy. Knowing that you've got someone to bring you out of it, knowing that you've got someone who will answer when you call, knowing that when you want to be your extroverted self, you're right. There is someone that will be there. I know that depression can be incredibly isolating as a feeling, especially when you are feeling so weighed down. You don't want to burden someone that you love with that extra weight. And so you will choose to isolate and you will choose to withdraw and you don't want to share. And so you get bogged down more and more. Now, I'm not sure if the last unicorn is depressed. I don't think she's much. I don't know what she's thinking. What's my name? Aaron, what's she thinking?
I don't know if she had depression, but she's probably certainly had anxiety. At least it seemed that way, especially when she's finally out in the world and she comes across that farmer who only sees her as just a pretty white mare who just wants to tie her up and bring her to the fair kind of thing. So that
a mare?
Angered her.
Me? Yeah. And then anxiety and claustrophobia. And that claustrophobia of you kind of seek freedom and you seek your people and then, or your fellow unicorns, and then you get locked up.
Also vanity, because nobody recognizes that I'm this wonderful magical creature anymore. Unicorns are so, not remembered or revered anymore that people don't recognize them when they see you're in its presence. I need a random witch lady in some weird carnival to put a magic spell on me to make people recognize for me what I am.
Yeah. That, though, when we talk about superpowers and someone says, oh my God, I would love to be invisible. That is literally the consequence of being invisible. People seeing right through you and being ignored. I think being invisible would be horrible. It's like
not even the actual see-through one. It's like they just overlook you.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, those dreams where you're screaming for help, but you can't make noise. That's what it would feel like, I think, to be invisible. So yeah, I don't know if it's so much vanity, but literally not being able to be seen. And that feeling of kind of it's that again. Alex, good to see you. Thanks for 28 months. I really appreciate it. Dr. Soda and Chris earlier, thank you so much for the follows as well. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We're chatting about The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle, forward by Patrick Rothfuss. So far, it's there's been there's a 5 out of 5. There's some 4.5 out of 5s. I feel like on average, it's between a 3.5. It's around a 3.5, I would say, is the average between all of us, because some are less, some are more. Avery said Addie LaRue, exactly like Addie LaRue. The second they shut their eyes or turn the corner, she's gone. She's forgotten. She will never have impact. She will never have history. Did you read that one, Jeff? Have you read The Secret Life of Addie LaRue?
No.
No, the answer is not yet.
Not yet.
There it is. Pushing 137 books, you're going to need more recs, and we are here for those recs. Recs that won't wreck you. Oh, should write that down. Next, Schmendrick as a character. Now, this is quite funny. It's it's kind of like being a squib, I guess, if we're looking at the Harry Potter world. It's someone that should be powerful, that should have magic, that should be crushing it, that just cannot access that power. And I feel like this poor unicorn who has magic herself, who is revered, who is this icon, and then Schmendrick's like, oh, I'm going to make this horrible for you because I could help you, but I don't know how. And I don't really understand you. And I'm kind of one of your captors initially. What do we think of the character Schmendrick?
I think his name says it all.
Now, you were talking about the history of the word.
Right. It's Yiddish for someone who's just kind of hapless, not very good at what he does. I see Schmendrick as being well-meaning. He's obviously tender-hearted enough that he even cries for Mommy Fortuna. But he just is totally incompetent. His magic comes in spurts and whatever.
Absolutely incompetent. Swish Doda has just outed themselves as someone who I know in real life. Their name is Zach. We go to the same exercise class together, and I have seen Zach blossom into someone who can jump rope really quite incredibly. I don't know how you found my book club, but I'm glad you're here. So lovely to have you, Swish. That's awesome. Wow. There you go. Thank you. I went yesterday to the exercise class. Jump rope's been really tricky since I sneezed and ruptured a disc in my back. And I've not been able to feel my whole left foot for about 10 and a half, nearly 11 months.
I don't want to say this to be mean, but welcome to being old.
Who's old?
People who sneeze and rupture discs in their back.
No. I am accident prone and very gifted in accidentally hurting myself.
Is that what it is? I mean,
very gifted.
I hurt my back sleeping last night, so it's fine.
She's young. Yeah. She's young, Tim. She's young. I can't feel my left toes after I herniated a disc 20-some years ago. Yeah, my left toes too. My little one. The worst is my Achilles heel. I got nothing. Like, it feels weird having my finger on it because it's like it feels like it's gone through like 7 layers of either clothing or something else. Like, I can kind of feel it, but not really. And then I found out I must have worn shoes that aggravated it because I have had, it's now a scab, but I clearly had a blister on the back of my Achilles heel, which is now scabbed, probably bled everywhere. No idea. Can't feel it. Wild. Don't like that. But like, now I can wear extra tight shoes. I don't even know. Darian, are you going to tell us how you're old and that you've hurt yourself?
Exactly.
Yep,
I'm
good.
just saying we're the same age, and my knees and my hip hurt so much.
I think my right hip's a little bit out at the moment.
It's exactly my right hip.
Cool. Now, apparently, the hips are where you store a lot of emotional feelings. Like, you can actually store emotions in your hip. So a lot of the time when a masseuse really, really gets in there, sometimes I'll feel like I need to vomit. And it's like expunging and releasing a lot of stored up emotion. So that's fun. That's
Is
fun.
that why I have big hips?
You need to talk more, Baz. You need to offload. You need to share. Those hips don't lie.
I was like stretching like this in work a couple of weeks ago, and my back was hurting for like the whole weekend.
That's not funny. Yeah. That's not funny.
It's not.
This is tough. It's tough.
I stretch wrong in the morning. I get a Charlie horse in the leg the whole day.
What else
You
have I
need
been
more
getting?
potassium.
Oh, I've got overactive traps from doing weights and lifting heavy things, and that corded muscle is going up into my neck, which is actually causing migraines behind my eye. How fun's that?
Oof.
Yeah. Yow. Hey, that's cool. Don't we all wish we were
Welcome to Maude's Old
unicorns?
Person Pain Club.
Hand up if you've done absolutely nothing and you hurt. Yep, I was waiting for Avery. In her 20s, she says, "Oh no, it's happened.
All downhill from here, Avery.
It happened. I did nothing, and my back hurts." And we're all in the chat being like, "Welcome. We've been here for a while." Oh, back pain.
I
I
went.
turned 36 in March, and then 3 months later I get shingles. So it's like it's just all down.
You really did have a physical and emotional
year.
beating, didn't you, with that one? Ugh.
It was a rough year.
Yeah, it has. My last year was pretty rough. This year, I feel like I'm. Oh no, the back. No, I'm 2 for 2. The last 2 years have been shithouse, emotionally and physically. No good. Anyway, surely it gets better.
I went on a ghost tour the other night, and we went through all these old theaters that had. It just seemed like millions of narrow wooden stairs you had to go up.
Oh.
And by the next day, even my shoulders ached. Every part of my body ached from trying to get up those stairs.
Yeah, you're using muscles you didn't even know you needed for stairs, and they were like protesting out in pain. Matthew Butcher's just shown up and gone, "I've just turned 20. And I feel like I'm starting to relate. Matthew Butcher, you've got no idea
Not at all.
what's coming your way. When you're 20, I don't want to hear it. I mean, I was still getting hangovers at 20, but I was also working 10-hour shifts the next day on 2 hours sleep. You could do so much when you're 20. And if you start thinking that it sucks now and you're not taking advantage of every waking second of being 20, you ain't living. So Matthew, you get back out there. 20 push-ups right now, Matthew. 20 push-ups right now. Let me know when you've done them.
Do the push-ups while you still can.
While you still can. Because my wrist is a little sore these days, and I just don't know. There you go. It goes downhill from here. No, Maddie, you don't get to say that either. You don't get to say that. Oh no, didn't you just hurt your back? Neck? There's something happening. Get busy living. What are your thoughts on Molly's role and her connection to the unicorn? I do feel like she was shoehorned in halfway through as a balance or another voice of reason, I suppose, for Schmendrick, who started getting a bit possessive of the unicorn, but Molly actually had a deeper connection and understood the unicorn. But what did you guys think about Moles?
I love Molly.
I liked her.
Especially like when she like sees the unicorn for the first time, she's just like, yo,
oh, there
where the
you
hell
are.
have you been?
Yeah.
Like, damn you, why would you come to me now when I'm like, in my 30s, 40s or something like that? And when I was
She's like 38.
Molly's all age.
So old. She is
the movie makes her it was a hard life.
She is a spinster. She is discarded. She's unlovable. She's a scullery maid. That's the only thing that she can be good for.
Molly made it seem like she was like in her 50s or something like that. She's
38.
She's mine.
Yeah.
38.
A little older than me.
38 is old age. Some people.
Like, oh, girl.
I think she ended up being kind of a lot of times a voice of reason.
Yes.
And keeping Schmendrick on track.
Okay, Schmendrick sounds like Smegma. Are we not? Is it not? Are we every single time? I'm like, dirty dick. I don't like this name. Schmendrick. Dirty Drick.
I don't like that.
Schmendrick is, I mean, this is such a Yiddish name.
Got it.
It's.
I gotta be honest, never occurred to me.
Schlemazel. Yeah.
Oh, I schmozzled. No,
Boston
did I?
Pepper Incorporated.
I don't want to finish the book. What have you done, Maude? Come
Sorry,
on now.
that Schmendrick. I can't. I've never been able to get over it this entire book. I did say schmozzle to my Jewish friend, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a Yiddish word. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you made that up. I've never heard this word before. I was right. Schmozzle is a Yiddish word. Schmendrick. I might use that in my vernacular if I ever need to. And if you hear me say it, you will know. You'll know what it means.
I definitely know that this book inspired another character in a series by Terry Brooks, who did the Shannara Chronicles. There's another series called Magic Kingdom of Landover, where the court wizard is useless. Like, not as useless as Schmendrick, who's like, can only do like the really simple things. Like, every time he tries to do magic, it just backfires.
Yeah. Matthew Butcher has announced that he has done the 25 push-ups. Round of applause for Matthew, whose shoulders didn't give out, whose wrists allowed him 25. Are you sure you did 25 of them? 25 push-ups. Toaster Poster says, no, Maude. I'm paraphrasing and reading between the lines. Get your head out of the gutter. Derek Schmendrick. Derek Schmendrick. That's helped me. So there you go, Basil. When you hear Schmendrick, it's Derek. It's the Derek of names.
Schmendrick was working just fine for me. I'm gonna stick with that.
Right up until
Michigan is another good word.
Didn't need to handle with.
Oh, everyone's talking about
Michigan is another Yiddish word you need to learn.
Which one?
Michigan.
What's that one? I've never heard it.
Someone who's crazy.
Oh, it's me? I'm the drama? Yay. What are they calling me? Sugar mama. Sugar mama. What is the word?
Mashugana is the word for crazy.
Mashugana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear sugar mama. And I'm like, yeah, that's...
Not the same thing.
Well, it might be to a crazy woman. Anyway, moving on. Hey, how does the portrayal of King Haggard reflect his power and motivation? So King Haggard is set up to be the antagonist of this realm. He's very decrepit. He's very unhappy. And it's interesting that he's trying to do everything to contain this curse, to do everything right, to have prosperity, for everyone to be happy. And it turns out the entire place is in misery. No one's allowed to have children because they're scared of the child who will break said curse and get the castle crumbling down. It just sounds like this is sort of like cutting off your nose to spite your face. So what do we think of King Haggard?
Don't think he gives a damn about the town, that Hag's Gate or anything like that, because basically the townsfolk are responsible for the curse that's been put on themselves as well, because they didn't convince Haggard to like pay the witch or anything like that, so their indifference is what cursed them. Haggard just wants to find something that'll make him happy, but every time he tries, it's like he just doesn't give a damn anymore.
I will
To
say,
be a father and work.
That's it. I got a son. I was basically delivered a boy by a peasant, and I thought that will be the answer, and it wasn't.
Even that, he just picked it up.
He kind of he kind of lives by shortcuts. He's trying to get the quick fix. He's trying to not put in the hard work or the effort. He's just trying to get that instant gratification or happiness, and nothing's actually working, and it's coming at a very, very large cost.
Also, I think the reason for it is because when he saw the unicorns the first time, nothing else could compare to it, because he's just so enamored. Because he even says, like, I felt I was going to die looking at these things. Now nothing else can, make me happy, because nothing else can compare to having all these unicorns that I can just stare at whenever I damn well want. And I'm sorry for swearing.
It was his first high.
What?
No, it was his first high. He was like just chasing that ever since.
Chasing a high. Yes. Yeah. Colleen.
I think also it's kind of a lesson. His name, I think, is significant too. Haggard, I mean, just you think of him as a haggard old man. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like if you can't find happiness inside yourself, you're not going to find it. Nobody else or nothing else can make you happy if you can't make yourself happy.
That's it. You got to love yourself before you can love anyone else. That's exactly how it goes. And like that haggardness, it's like he's almost like rotting from the inside,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like the state of the castle kind of represents that as well. And it's just kind of like this bleak, dank, dark place.
That's supposed to be the best of everything, and he's not feeling any of it. Avery, yes, you've got this classic villain trope. Talk me through it.
It's that classic, the person who has all the power, all the money, but they just, like, it's never enough. Like, they just always need more than whatever they currently have. And that's a very common trope in a lot of fairy tales, but also in a lot of, like, not fairy tales. Just in general, I mean, billionaires are also like that.
Yeah. Tax the rich. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I wonder what will happen if greed is rewarded. What sort of new levels of evil we could reach if greed is actually rewarded? Aaron says he keeps trying to fill the void in his heart with possessions. He is avarice. What is that word? I've never seen it.
Avarice.
Avarice.
It's another word for greed.
Avarice. I like it.
He just wants and wants and wants. Doesn't matter what it is.
Avarice. Avarice. Like ravenous, but avarice. Cool. Nothing was ever enough except the unicorns.
The way of, I don't know if you ever got into like Green Lantern, but there's like one of the Green Lantern, or not Green Lantern, but like one of the like rings out there is like an orange lantern.
The orange lantern, cool.
One single user of the ring because it represents avarice. Because the one user just wants everything. Doesn't matter what it is. If he wants it, it's his. That's his entire motivation. And he's just
how boring.
Absolutely white, but he's also insane. It's basically like Gollum, like just I want the ring and no one else. It's like picture in that context.
Yeah. Well, at least he's motivated. You know,
basically the unicorns for Haggard is the unicorns are
ring.
his one ring.
Yeah, interesting. I like that. Phantom says, makes me wonder who cooked for the castle before Molly came to live there. They had a previous wizard, but otherwise they just had the 4 knights. I know, this is the other thing. It's like they projected to have abundance, like an army. They thought there was this whole thing, and like obviously the reputation preceded it. And when they came there, it was scarce and there was nothing. And it's like, he's like Scrooge McDuck, says Avery. Yeah, well said. He hates everything and knows that he sucks. He didn't need the army because he had the bull. Yeah, okay.
I think that the town is kind of like that too. Here they have all this wealth and all these possessions.
But they can't have children.
They're so afraid of losing it that they can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
They just sort of hoard it, and they're still living as if they were poor in the midst of all this abundance, just out of fear of losing
paralysis by fear, because they don't want to lose anything, but so they don't want to enjoy what they have.
It's like almost
because they lost so much more.
Yeah, it's also like kind of hypocritical too, because in the same chapter they're like giving glares at the older members, and the older members are pointing out, hey, you probably would have made the same decision, and I agree with that. And then they turn around and they're just like, oh yeah, we forbid it. We made having children forbidden. I'm like, what are we working with here? Like,
what are you really fighting
I'm sorry,
for?
You want your prosperity that you don't enjoy until you all die out? Congratulations.
Yep.
You played yourself.
Plus, they probably already figured out Prince Lear is the one promised in the whole prophecy thing or whatever in the curse. It's like, once you like confirm like he's probably the one, he's already at the castle. It's like, just have kids. Like, just ride out the party for as long as possible until it's gone.
It's that self-fulfilling prophecy, though, isn't it? You're so scared of the fate not happening that it actually ends up fulfilling the fate. Jeff's going off in the comments. Everyone drink. Hey.
I don't know. Well, tangentially related, but there was a show on Netflix recently called Chaos. Unfortunately, canceled after one season. But it's like based on Greek mythology, and I think they do the. I mean, I feel like anytime I see Greek mythology or like portrayal of it, video game, movie, they bring up the Fates, and I'd say that shows the best portrayal of the Fates I ever seen, where all they do is write the prophecies, and then they're always like, we don't do anything else. We just sit there, and everyone makes their own prophecy come true. And I think the show is one of the subplots revolved around one prophecy, and it was actually very smart about, demonstrating how that person's prophecy, they made it come true to disastrous effect.
Actually, to jump on that, the video game God of War Ragnarok, they had their own versions of the Fates, the Norns, and they're basically explaining it's like, there is no prophecy, there is no real fate. It's like you just are all so locked in on how you choose to live your life that it's like it's so easy to predict the outcome.
Right.
And it's like you basically are your own self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like if you want to avoid doom, then avoid it. But if you want to actively try to avoid it, you're going to make it happen.
I'd like to pride myself on not being predictable here at Maude's Book Club. I feel like my spontaneity puts a lot of you guys in disarray, and I'm just saying that's because the fates can't fool me. So every single time someone's like, Maude, the schedule, I'll be like, ooh,
schedule.
Not fated, not dated. That's it. That's it. Alchemist says the God of War one was good. That was one of the big themes of the game. The nature of prophecy and choice. What the rules are. WRT that?
Good night. Here is your sleep music routine.
Darian, your Alexa is going off again. I feel like she just pops into every single show at this stage. She's like got insane FOMO, Alexa. She's like, hi, Maude, please let me ask a question. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
She became self-aware.
Yeah, right.
Beginning of the end.
Prince Lear was also the result of their self-fulfilling prophecy. If they had just kept him and raised him properly.
With love, yes.
Yeah, he would never have been in the castle. And none of what, the crashing down and things wouldn't have happened. He would not have been the one to do it.
But the castle crashing, was that a tragedy or is that a reclaiming of freedom? Was it a good or a bad thing?
Well, it was a good thing, but these people were cursed. And the breaking of the curse meant that everybody else prospered, but because of their greed, they lost what they had. So they were so busy clutching onto what they had that the castle and the breaking of the curse for them was a bad thing, to the point where they were willing to pay Schmendrick to murder the prince.
We've got some thoughts happening and then not happening. KP Dubs? Snores? What are you typing and not typing?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That makes me more curious. It's a trap. I like that. Say it. What's going on there in the comments? Okay, well, that just makes me want to watch the movies again. That is a great sound, and I love it a lot. Okay, well, let's keep moving on. There is obviously a theme in here. It's just quiet. We need to make the Basil laugh louder a little bit because I'll just
Hello there.
subtly hear it. Oh, then we got a hello happening in here. That was real time Basil just now, which sounds awfully like your laugh that we have ready to play.
Oh.
You know that, Basil, right? Do you know that? Do you not know?
Oh my god. I am so honored. I didn't know that was.
I can't
Needs to
remember what.
capture harpies and unicorns. Just have your laugh on a Discord.
What was it from again? I can't remember how it happened, but I remember you were laughing a lot like that.
It was
and I was
the
like,
charity stream.
It was, wasn't it? I was like, that's the
It
best
was,
laugh I've
it
ever
was
heard.
a sub war between him and I during the charity stream.
That was the Sub Wars noise.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And so I was like, that's such a good noise. Someone needs to rip that. And I believe it was Seb who does a lot of the clips and editing. Thank you, Seb. You're fantastic. I posted one of them today, which was the SourceFed flashback that I mentioned in Break Room on Monday. But yeah, we got the sound for that, but it's just a little quiet. I'd love to make it a lot louder so that when you laugh like that, we can all hear it.
I think the volume is perfect. First off, I am so honored. Thank you. Second, I think the volume is actually perfect.
Okay, yeah, it's just subtle because I'll be talking and I just hear this, and I'm like, wait.
Maybe a little louder, but it should never overtake conversation. That's the intent.
I like that. That's a lot of fun. Hey, stick around in Maude's Book Club long enough and watch yourself become the meme. Meme? Bit? Sound bite? Why is that word? Bride? The Princess Bride watch party. Are we going to do a watch party for Princess Bride? Hold on, haven't we already done one? Have we done one before? Years ago?
Oh, that one.
Not maybe as
did it with The
Geek Bomb,
Hobbit.
but not as Maud's book club.
I think it was for
We
Geek Bomb. We used to do movie nights.
Did like Hobbit
Yeah.
and John Carter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the movie nights thing was like before
COVID.
I joined, so it was way back when it was Geek Bomb.
I feel like we used
I-
to do like community watch parties. Jimmy, is that ringing
It
a
was
bell?
also, yeah, it was like
I
the height of COVID. It's like everybody's stuck at home, so might as
Yeah,
well just.
and I'm pretty
watch
sure it
something
was
together.
like one of the top Patreon tiers because your Patreon tiers have been rearranged like 3 times. Too,
Yes,
so.
yeah, it's probably going to happen again. January, by the way. We went through some things and there's going to be a couple of changes, but we're going to announce it in December. We read the first book. That is why we did. We read John Carter. It was Hector Navarro's favorite movie. We would at Nerdist Book Club, we would put forward a book that we would nominate. I thought it would be a great idea to read 1984 because I know that it's like a very necessary book, and then I had to apologize immensely afterwards because that is horribly not fun as a book.
yeah.
Very
If you're gonna talk about
pertinent.
sadness, if you're gonna talk about sadness and La Cynico on 1984 is kind of like a couple levels above.
Important book, very pertinent. My mum and I talk about it quite a lot. Big Brother's always watching. But yeah, that was, I think Darcy, my brother, just read it. And it's interesting now that he's a dad. He said that this one part really hit him differently. And that was when the kids started snitching on their parents. And they would be like, they would report of like things that weren't by the book. And so he goes, yeah, the fact that like the kids are brainwashed and indoctrinated in a way to like snitch out their parents. He goes, that was really hard as a dad to read about. We are
concept
living
of
in the
movie.
Brave New World. I don't think I've read Brave New World. Is that something that we would want to entertain? No. Brave New World is a campaign on Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and I've played that through a few times, and I just figured that was good enough. All right, Jeffrey is outraged. Is it Jeffrey? I just Jeffrey'd you. I don't even know if that's your full name. It's probably not. It's just Jeff.
Mongo and Kiwi are appalled.
Jeff's got thoughts.
I've been saying for a while we should
It is
do
Jeffrey,
classic
which
fiction.
is fine.
It's
But
Jeffrey.
Brave New World is actually, we are living in Brave New World where, I mean, not to bring up a bad point, but after 9/11 happened, our government said, what did they tell us all to do? They told us all to go out and buy stuff. And Brave New World is all about consumerism, and your value is really as a consumer and kind of some predestination stuff. But we are living in Brave New World, not 1984. Just my opinion.
Okay, now I need to read Brave New World. Now, am I going to be thrust into despair after reading it?
Yes and no.
Huh. Well, Lightbringer first, okay?
We could do Brave New World for March since we're filling out the book schedule. I've been saying we should do classic fiction for a while.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's your book club, Maud. We'll do whatever you want.
It's a DeMaudecracy.
Exactly.
And we've
We make
started,
suggestions, you tell us to vote, and then we do what you want anyways.
but the illusion remains. Hope guides my dictatorship. Colleen, you read it in high school. Was that the last time you read A Brave New World? Was it in high school? Whoa. You.
Yeah, there's so many things I can't remember, but we read a lot of that in high school. We read that. We read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I can't remember, but I was in, they called it a gifted class, and our teachers were somewhat subversive. So we read a lot of things, and then we read underground newspapers on our own.
I've thought of a fun little game that we're doing in show chat. Can you recall 5 books that you had to read in high school that you needed to do essays and lectures on? Dew. Oh yeah, I do soft D's if there's a U after it. You're Dew. Yeah, remember how I used to play Stardew? Stardew Valley? Stardew? And I'm like, I really had to make it the D. It was a very different game otherwise. All right, 5 books that you read in high school. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Great Gatsby, Macbeth, Looking for Alibrandi, Australian one, talked a lot about what it was like to be Australian Italian, which was and it had a very much a class system and a race culture that's intrinsic to Australia, which I really enjoyed. Got made into a movie. Last book, I can only think of 4. Surely there was another Shakespeare in there. I couldn't stand Shakespeare.
I couldn't either.
Yeah. What does this mean? I don't know. Ask him. He's dead. Well, you missed your chance. Like, I always thought that.
Shakespeare, it was probably a dick joke.
Oh, really? Well, if I knew that, I'd probably have read it with more enthusiasm. I never did. Oh, Great Expectations. Or did I? I feel like that rings a bell. 1984.
We did Great Expectations in Form 1, so that was like, the first year of secondary school.
Animal Farm.
That book sucked. I hated that book so much.
Animal Farm. I never liked any of them. It's so interesting because I
did enjoy the animated movie they did of it, but it's like the story overall is just, I know what it's
communism.
meant to be.
It's an allegory for communism. That's all it is.
But
what was the Lord of the Flies was really big in Australia for a lot of boys' schools. Lord of the Flies.
Almost read that, but I didn't.
In high school, when I was forced to read a book and then find themes and then write essays about it, I hated reading. And it wasn't until I left high school when I got to read because I wanted to and there was no homework attached to it. Look at me now. I'm running a book club where we're talking about themes of books, like voluntarily. I love it now.
My thing was we all the required reading, like maybe 2 of the books. And like in between, I would always be reading books I would borrow from my friends, like Lord of the Rings or the David Gemmell fantasy books and stuff like that. I used to love reading, but somehow I got a 3 in literature.
You liked it?
Yeah, but I got a 3 in literature because I just didn't like the books we had to read for school.
Yeah, no, I hear that. The Crucible. I think I did the Crucible too, Tay. I'm pretty sure I did the Crucible. There was witches in that, right? It was about sort of, yeah. I liked that one.
When I hated the most.
We did that one too.
Yeah.
When I hated the most in high school, though, Catcher in the Rye. That book was so boring to me.
No, Jeff's outraged.
They're going to kill you, Aaron.
Though, everything I'm saying is pissing him off.
So in high school, I did 1984, or not 1984, I did Fahrenheit 451, Flowers for Algernon, which was depressing as hell. A book called Stoughton, which I absolutely hated. Of Mice and Men. And
that's a play, right?
Yeah.
It's a book.
And then also we did Animal Farm, and I didn't like Animal Farm either.
Right. I kind of...
It's a book.
But that's only 5. I read so many books in high school, it wasn't even funny.
No one's laughing.
Exactly. It wasn't funny.
Not funny.
I can't remember most of the books. I mean, as you're talking about these books, I can remember reading them. I don't remember when I read most of them, but I do remember reading things like Nietzsche in high school.
No, that wasn't one of mine, I don't think. Wuthering Heights, Matthew, yes. We did the Brontes. And I kind of wish, I think now if I read Wuthering Heights, I would really appreciate it. I could not in high school, but that was one. I'm guessing, Avery, you're a Wuthering Heights fiend. Yup. Okay, I could do. And it was like, they got us into it by playing, is it Kate, what's her name? Kate Bush's song. And I'm like, wow, she's singing about Heathcliff. Oh my God, it's the character from the book. I was like, that's cool. And then now Kate Bush had her resurgence, was it 2 years ago with Stranger Things, and Running Up the Hill was the number one song, and she earned like another $1 million. Good on Kate Bush. She deserved that. Oh, you did Chaucer? Avery said, my teachers had us alternate between assigned reading and chosen reading because they cared less about the proposed curriculum and more about fostering a love for reading. That would have been smart. Yeah, I think that's why I despised reading. I despised it. There you go. Matthew said, yes, Maude, I just had flashbacks. Yeah, right. Oof. Lastly, I want to talk about the theme of nature and how Peter S. Beagle kind of sees this relationship between humans and nature. We kind of talked about it a little bit with, like, you know, capturing animals to use for entertainment. But what do you think? Like, I kind of want to intertwine conversation about the unicorn's powers and how magic is magic front and center part of this universe, or is it more subtle, or is it unharnessable, or is it corrupting? Like, let's talk about the different types of magic, and let's talk about how that can also impact humans versus nature. Oh, Colleen, you had a great school.
For me, with the whole magic system, is it felt like it was both needed, but also didn't actually matter in the long run in a weird way, because like you have Schmendrick, who's like trying desperately to gain all this magical power, and then by the end it's like, no, just basically a unicorn who fell in love with a human. That's what's going to save the day. Like, all I had to do was just make sure she was safe enough long enough to get to that point.
Kind of like Beric Dondarrion from Game of Thrones, if I may. There was a religious element in there where he was like, I have been chosen. I don't know what it's for. I can't die, but apparently my role in this is bigger than I am. And so I have to stay alive to basically, you know, be there for one critical moment in what the fates have laid out. So I make money fighting, because even if they kill me, I know I can come back. And there's a lot of like woo-woo, because we don't really see, we see some magic in Game of Thrones from time to time, but here is someone who's got no idea what they're doing, but have to be there. And I think Schmendrick, it's just a Schme, really, anything Schme.
Like that, and it's like the way he describes magic. It's like, I can do all this. It's like, you know, I can, like, you know, turn cream into butter. I can turn you into musical notes if I want to. I can do all these, like, I can literally change the fabric of reality. But and then at the end, it's like, yeah, I also can't do certain things because there's rules.
Yeah,
like,
I can't do most things, and I don't even know when I can harness the power. But if I relinquish and just like hope that magic will take over when it's necessary, then great. It's because of me.
Even at the end, when he has like ultimate power now, it's like he can finally tap into his, like, you know, ultimate magical abilities, and he's just like, I can't do that actually. Like, I literally, like, that's not like I'm incapable. It's just I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, so he's just a vessel. All right. Toaster Poster said, I watched a couple of reviews for this book and they complained about the lack of world building. Did anyone else feel that? For the parts I can remember, that the magic's random. But how did people who kind of didn't really click with the book as much, how did you feel about the world building? I feel like
think that's part of the charm.
Okay.
I can see that.
So I haven't finished the book, but I can tell that this is the kind of story that very intentionally does not lock itself down to someplace in the world. And I could see that from the references to various mythologies, and also the fact that, like, oh yeah, you have a lion, an alligator, and a dog all together in this one prairie park. And I'm like, okay, well, the location's not really the point of the story. Like, oh, you're going to King Haggard and it's this terrain, you know? So
yeah, it is very, it's quite linear, and it's the characters that sort of are the gist of it, not the world around it. Nick, you had a great comment. You were just like, what world building? If you're there and you want to chime in, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, there was just nothing. It was just like random fantasy creatures and elements and magic. And like, I think in the beginning it really bothered me, and like was another reason why I didn't connect. But then by the end, I guess I kind of understood like that was kind of like the purpose, and it wasn't needed. But it was just another reason why I just didn't connect in the beginning. So
I do feel like a lot of the times we talk about fantasy, it's like, what is more important? Is it world building? Is it plot? Or is it character? And I think Lisa and I are much more into the give me good characters and I don't even care where you place them. It's irrelevant. Other people are like, if you give me a really cool magic system, that's the most important part. Like flesh out this world so it's tangible and I can live, breathe, smell, and, you know, I completely understand everything that happens in it. And then the characters just happen to sort of push the plot along. I feel like this was very much your fairy tale A to B. A character does this and then it goes there, that gets more information to go to the next spot where you meet a new character, then it goes to the next spot. And it's like very much a linear progression through it, which is, you know, your very typical fantasy plot. I agree though. Well, Aaron's saying I don't think world building was needed considering how much it's a fairy tale, that doesn't require it. You don't need to know the lineage of kings and lands to know what's going on. I just wonder, if there's more of a disconnect because the world's not completely fleshed out. Also, people are quite annoyed about, Colleen, how many times did someone say that Schmendrick couldn't even turn cream into butter? And Lisa, getting her sass on, which we must drink for, says like 5 times too many. I like that sass. All right, so do you think that if we had a little bit more time and emphasis on the world building, this would have been a better book? Aaron says it wasn't necessary.
I would want to add, I think we are also collectively very spoiled when it comes to that with modern fantasy books because so many of them are just these big, giant, epic, sprawling worlds. All the world building from Game of Thrones, all the Red Rising books, and so on and so on.
We have maps.
Then you have like little maps and stuff like that. And here you have just a simple fairy tale story that's meant to entertain kids at bedtime kind of thing. And it's like, where is the world building? Where is the 50 pages of lore dump of explaining the entire history of this universe, a la Lord of the Rings.
Jeff says, what, Dune, Asimov, those are from that time and they are nothing but world building. I will say Asimov to a fault. I didn't enjoy Foundation because there was no character I did not like Foundation. And I read all 3 of the Asimov trilogy for that one. Because of the huge time jumps, I couldn't follow a person. I didn't know who to root for. I wasn't on, where was the journey? It was just the world. Oh, we're going to fight about this, Jeff, aren't we? No, I'd love to hear you. Yeah, no, step into the ring. Let's go.
All right. Well, Foundation being like one of my entries into sci-fi.
What you wanted to keep reading after that? That's amazing.
My dad was a huge Asimov fan. He was an iRobot guy. I was a Foundation guy. Whatever. But Selden is the entirety of Foundation, and if you can't follow kind of the concept of psychohistory and all of the sort of pieces of that, then I understand why that would be difficult. But viewing that as the arc, as kind of Selden's prediction of what's going to happen, and Selden is the key to all of Foundation. And if you buy into kind of psychohistory and buy into kind of the mythology of that, then it's such a wonderful story. And Prelude helps because it introduces you to actually who Selden is. Prelude to Foundation, which is
I liked that part.
Way later.
Oh, I thought you meant the start of
help.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Did you like 3 Body Problem?
So actually, curiously, I just checked that out from the library.
Hey, okay. I think that Foundation and 3 Body Problem kind of go hand in hand. I love the premise that is set up. I liked the start of Foundation where it was like didn't he do some like math equation and he projected sort of yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I don't want to spoil too much of Three Body Problem, but it kind of starts off as this like thriller because scientists have discovered something and they are literally ending their lives over this discovery. And I'm like, that is fascinating. That is plot. Now where are our characters that are going to see us through the plot? And Foundation's like, right, we are going to do this 200 years later. And it's like, okay, so now we're doing this. And I'm like, whoa, but this guy, he was really cool. Like, did he save everyone? Like, no, we're new people. And Avery goes, oh my God, I forgot that we read Foundation. We did 3 books in that month. But I forgot the rest of the book.
It's not.
There was a jester.
It's not just
jester.
Well, there was the mule, but
mule.
It's not just 200 years later. It's like it's still the same
1,000
math, and it's still the same sort of equation.
But the equation's not a character. Well, it is a character, and it hurts.
It's totally a character.
It's character.
It's totally a character.
Yeah, with no emotion.
It's like it's the influence of
crisis points, right? There are like these moments of Selden crises, which are anyway. It's not important. I personally thought it was a brilliant series, just ridiculously intelligent, and Asimov is one of my favorite authors.
Okay.
I would say for me on that point, it's like if I probably were to read the entire series, I probably would be able to enjoy it as a whole because I would be able to see the whole picture as it was supposed to be presented. But the individual stories, like when you're like jumping from one character to the next, one like plot time and plot point in time or something like that, it just feels very disjointed. So it's like I probably would need to see the whole together to be able to understand and appreciate it better.
Yeah, it was the sum of the parts, wasn't it? Really, that book. I feel
pretty much.
Yeah. It was 2,000 years later. My goodness. I would love to hear back from when you've read Three Body Problem, because the first half of that book I really liked. The second half I thought lost the plot, but I think you'd love the second half because it is world building with an idea, which is not
I'll let you know next week.
Enough of an emotional character for me. There you go. Cool. I'm actually looking forward to hearing that. I feel like we have to wrap things up. I did have some more questions, including the narrative style contributing to the story's tone and atmosphere. And Nick, you're already saying that there was no immediacy in the storytelling, and that hurt the book as well a little.
I can see that because there's no
there was
rush to it.
Just
really.
no emotional connection to the characters or the story, and it just, like Lisa said, it felt like somebody was telling us a story of a story, and it just
okay. Also, the bull was never really a threat because the bull didn't actively hunt or attack. It was sort of somewhat herding the unicorns into the ocean. And so I never really, like, it wasn't like there was a sands of an hourglass where it's like when the last sand, fell through, then that would be the end of times. Or, maybe the more unicorns that were herded into the sea, the stronger the bull became. And instead of it just being this myth kind of creature, it would solidify and then wreak havoc. We just didn't. Okay, I've got 2 hands up. I feel like I'm walking down something. We'll have to keep it a little bit quick though, because we're coming to the end of the show. But Darian and then Aaron.
Just the bull. I just saw it as an extension of King Haggard's will. So it wasn't like a threat on its own. It was just whatever Haggard wanted for the unicorns. Keep it here. That's all it was. Hunt down and keep it here. It wasn't anything more than that.
It's quite anticlimactic then for me. A little.
Well, it's also the idea of like, if they don't stop the bull, if they don't find a way to get the unicorns out and all that stuff, it's like they're all just going to be there in the at the edge of the ocean, always coming in on the tide, but never able to touch land again because the bull is just going to constantly be keeping them there until Haggard dies and the bull just basically goes off and does its own thing.
How did the bull come along? Was it a manifestation?
They never explained if it was summoned or if he made a deal. It's just like he just found a way to summon the bull.
So the bull didn't really have any connection or foundation, since we
it was just a tool to like Darian said, it's just an extension of Haggard's will.
Yeah, it was just there. Clever girl. Colleen, you want to chat about this spider? This has been tickling your brain the whole discussion.
Yeah, well, just that I felt sorry for the spider. The spider was happy living in this fantasy world. it felt like she was really building something and a part of something great and wonderful. And once that illusion was gone, she saw herself as being just this tiny little speck in the middle, I mean, between a couple of iron bars, and not of any significance at all. And it made me wonder, to what extent can we afford to live in our delusions? You know, is it better to feel like we're really doing something great, or to face the reality that we have such small impact in the world around us?
I wonder if this is delving into ignorance. So it's like the less you know. Sometimes with ignorance, I would like to stay there. I feel like what was I proactively saying to my friends that I wanted to remain ignorant? I think it's horror movies. I think that's what it is. I was like, I'm okay not knowing. I'm just okay. I'm okay not knowing, and I'm okay not doing things. Like everyone's like, aren't you going to regret not bungee jumping? Not even a little bit. I'm so fine with that. And so living in the ignorance of not knowing what it's like to hurl myself out of a plane and free fall for 15 minutes, I don't need it. And I feel like my life's going to be just fine. I also wonder if this has a lot to do with contentment. Like, are you happy with what you have, or are you always actively seeking more? And at what point does that ambition and hunger for life turn into greed, and then what King Haggard sort of becomes? So
it's also the thing with unicorn, like, okay, I am now losing my like identity as a unicorn now. It's like I'm just content to be this human woman, this lady princess or whatever, to be Prince Lear's wife.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's also like she's running away because she also probably in the back of her like subconscious, like she's afraid of the Red Bull, and what that would mean. It's like, if I become a unicorn again, I'm going to be herded into the ocean, and I'm basically somebody's ornament for the rest of time. Versus I could just be at least happy in the prince's ornament, basically.
Yeah.
It makes him happy.
Yeah, that's it. How much of it is fear writing these decisions as well? But it is funny because she was like so fearful of being human, and then kind of like gained more humanity. And a lot of the things, like, it was Schmendrick who was like, oh my gosh, now you're crying. You'll never come back now that you're feeling emotions, like being able to cry. Yeah. Put your game on fire today. Thank you. This was fun. I feel like we're going retro and nostalgic, and so I dressed accordingly. Oh, wait. Jeff is mentioning something about the bull's poop. Are we going to drink about that one? He's frantically saying, no. You wrote it. I'm reading it. What is going on?
He was responding to my comment where I said, we find ways to summon the bull here every week.
I don't get that. What does that mean? Is it a sport thing?
Oh, like BS.
Shit.
We all BS. We summon BS here. It was a joke, Maude.
Well, I mean, I feel like bull is our standard. You can't summon something that just constantly exists.
Come to your senses.
But I see what you're saying. Bullshit. I get it now. When the bullshits, I get it. It took me a second. I was saying it without swearing. I got you. I got you. What is you always bring mints, everyone gets content mints? What is that?
You said contentment. I made a joke.
Oh my
mints.
God, Ken. No, Jeff is applauding over that one.
Nope. I award you no points. And may God have mercy on your soul.
I quote that so much because of customer service.
Well, most of the time, I don't expect you to read the chat. I just try to.
Oh no, I glance. You throw it out there, I catch it, and that was bad. Jeff loved it. Said it was a highlight of the stream. So there you go. Yeah, Mongo is appalled. Says Toaster. Fun times. Look, we're over time. December's going to be a lot of fun. We are continuing the Murderbot series. Now, we're going to push the stream back a week to the 12th of December, just in case you've not read Murderbot. Now, coming in on book 6 sounds really daunting. Great news. Most of those books are novellas. So the first 4 is less than 1 book, really. I think the novellas are like a 3-hour listen on Audible. The whole series is about 1,000 pages. Adam Vision says, oh, interesting. 12th of December, hey? When's your birthday? When's Adam's birthday? Is it 12th of December? Is it December? When did I last wish you a happy birthday? It feels like it could have been a year. When's your birthday, Adam?
Once upon a December.
I know he's a little bit older than me. Wow. That's not the answer. That's not the answer you wanted to hear anyway. So we're doing Murderbot 6 and 7. The book 6 will be on the 12th. Book 7 will be on the 19th. If you're not going to be here over December, I totally get it. Chances are you've probably done the first 5 books with Maude's Book Club anyway. So close, Adam, but that's not my birthday. Oh, and you said it with such confidence. Oh, you could have even Googled it. It was right there. But no, you had to use your confidence. See, here we go. Adam, your overconfidence is your weakness, and my faith in my friends is mine. Actually, it's still yours. Oh.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I like quoting Star Wars when I can. No, it's even
This is an outrage.
That's even worse, Adam. You're going further away from my birthday. That's so awkward. Jimmy's like, thanks everyone. We had a good book club. Let's get out of here. We're done. Murderbot, let's start reading the books. They're fun to listen to. They're a delightful series. I'm very excited to dive back in for book 6 and book 7. If you remember, we're chatting and locking in the first quarter of book club for next year. So exciting. Adam, did you finally Google what it is? Just lay in your defeat. Can someone tell me when Adam's birthday is? Does anyone know Adam's birthday? Oh, you're going to get sad on your Shannara goal. Love that. The first 5 books are only 979 pages. There you go.
Or equal to half a Brandon Sanderson novel.
Correct. I have them in my set now, and they're almost breaking my bookcase.
It's like 2/3. 2/3 of a
like
Brandon
half.
Sanderson.
And you've got nearly 3. You've
But
got
it
3
feels
weeks.
like-
3 weeks to get it
feels
all
like
done.
More than that.
2/3 is more than a half, so even bigger.
I'm trying to say Brandon Sanderson books are too long, is what I'm trying to
I get
say.
it.
Loud
I
and
get
clear. Loud and clear. Yeah, very long books. Let's raid into someone's stream who will make their day. Who are we thinking? What do we got? Is there a new game that's just come out?
JCM just started.
I see that. It's been a minute since we've had Jason Charles Miller on as well. Is he doing karaoke night? Playlist night?
It's whatever you want Wednesdays.
Whatever you want Wednesdays. He's so great and talented and wonderful. Make sure you say hi. Jason Charles Miller is a legend. He's also big into Dungeons and Dragons. He literally rocks. He really rocks. That'll be a lot of fun. Chat, I'm going to hang out with you for a little bit, but then I got to drop my dog off because I'm leaving on a holiday tomorrow morning and I haven't even packed. Yay! That's so me. Thank you so much for joining. Keep following along with Maude's Book Club. Join the Patreon. Join the Discord. Discord's free. We've hit over 1,600 in there. It's a fun community. I appreciate everyone hanging out. And someone said, hey, thank you so much for streaming ARN. I believe that's the Alienware Arena points. The longer you watch on my stream, the more points you collect to use discounts to get Alienware product. You are welcome. Bye, guys.